earlier.
Hi, sweet girl. How you doing? Good. Really good. I know. 2 days ago. Today's Friday. I mean, the whole week just blurs. I get it. I'm glad you were there. Did you tell all those dummies how they missed a great thing?
I did, and I called them dummies.
And they go,
yeah, it really is.
we just can't seem to get people to consistently come up. Stand right over there. I'm sorry.
As much as we can satisfy things very things we but hey,
twice. Watch out for the water.
Okay. At least they don't break.
I got you.
Oh, there it is.
Full glass.
I promise I'll do it just you have to see it. We're having a water What do you call the people on TV stations that do all the grunts? Grunts? Is that what you call the TV people that do all
We're good?
So we can zip through them. Okay.
All better.
All right, go stand right there for just a second. Good morning. Good morning. It is coffee talk time. Coffee talk. I'm so excited because this is quite an outstanding turnout. Hi out there in TV land. And I want to introduce that we have some very special guests for our show today. David Dorris. Hey, David. And Scott Evans. I'm here. Okay. You don't have your coffees. Do you drink coffee?
I drink coffee.
Could you sit down because we're going to have our team get your coffees for you. I'm going to have we didn't have, you can see this is not rehearsed. However, I did give them questions ahead of time, so they have some knowledge. Anyway, thank you both for doing this. I know you're both incredibly busy. And this is, in your case, I'm sure, a huge interruption in your life. But calm down. And you, we never know if it's interruption. You're just the coolest person going. So you may be paddling furiously, but you're looking like you're just smooth sailing. So Scott Evans and David Dorris. So I've got some questions for you. And I hope that you've seen them ahead of time. So you both started your real estate careers in Village, correct? Am I correct?
Yes.
Wow.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
It's off to a great start.
So what year was that for you?
That was 2003.
Three.
Started off it used to be a village office over in Green Hills. The building is no longer there anymore. Bill Brainerd was my broker. Had a good little group in there. And that's where I met my business partner, Zach, who was located in that office. And we had cubicles that were back to back. And we moved over here, I think, in...
Well, then I became the broker for a little bit.
Yep.
And met you all.
Yes.
And then we moved over to there, and then...
Yep. It was all years ago. I slept since then.
And didn't you take a jumpstart class with me?
Absolutely. Like every class.
Jumpstart. And then there was David.
2007.
2007. And you just arrived?
I was
You
here.
were
It's this building.
unmarried,
Yeah.
single,
Single. Yeah.
free,
Yeah. All those things.
wondering what the hell you were going to do except make lots of money and don't
Yeah.
bother you with details.
Yeah, that was the goal.
But we had a good time.
We did. Yeah.
Okay. And
I
then
sold David his first condo.
Yeah.
you did.
Yeah.
That's where I met him.
Well, it's an amazing story, and we're going to just delve into a little bit because you both have built an incredible business separately. You are a team of eight,
Or eight.
which is huge, and you are still, which is also remarkable, a team of two.
Three.
So that, over three, sorry. But you and Zach have been together all that time,
Yeah. Yes.
which is a remarkable experience for two people to be able to create a partnership in real estate and last that long, because all of us have some really strong personalities. And so in your case, who wins all of the bottom line? Where is Zach? He's left, huh? So when it comes, push comes to shove,
Freely, yeah.
huh? When push comes to shove, who gets the final say?
That's our interesting dynamic in our partnership is there's a very strong yin and yang, and so there's rarely a time when one of us isn't willing to listen to the other one and kind of find a way to meet in the middle. So,
Good. Why'd you both choose real estate?
I didn't want to. It chose me, honestly.
Really?
Yeah. My father took over my grandfather's business in rural Indiana, and selling real estate. That was the last thing I wanted to do. Was put me in a car on Sundays and drive my mom and me around, just looking at all the new listings they had. And I was like, this is the worst job ever. This is the boring thing. And went down a path doing higher education for a long time, and landed finally back in Nashville, and realized that was not the end of my, or that was the end of my career in higher education without having to leave Nashville, and didn't want to do that. So I looked at different things, and saw literally an ad that Zach had posted in like above a urinal in Jackson's, and it was the most creative thing I've ever seen. So he had it was just his face with one eye sticking out. He said, "I'm not looking, but if you are, give me a call." And so calls that Goodyear. I think I remember that guy from college.
Did you go to Swanee?
We went to Swanee together. Yeah. He was a freshman when I was a senior. I think I remember that guy from school. And I was with some other Swanee grads at dinner that night, and they asked them, and they're like, "Oh yeah, sure. Zach's actually helping me right now find my first house." And so I was like, maybe that's what I want to do. And so it just chose me.
That's great. You, David? You come from a background of.
Yeah, my family was in real estate, and I majored in real estate in college, and one thing that I knew was I didn't want to be a realtor.
We all say that.
Yeah. So I was like, I'm not gonna do that, and I'm just gonna do real estate, but not that.
And then what happened?
I got my license because I wanted, again, everybody has to have their story, right? So it's like I'm telling my friends, it's just to buy investment property. I'm not gonna be a realtor, so opposite probably of what we should be doing, building the sphere and letting everybody know we're up to.
Right.
I'm doing this, but don't call me to buy a house.
Now there's a new technique.
Yeah.
Is that hard to get?
Hard to get, yeah. Anyways, I just got into it. Like, that was the reason I got my license, but then I got into it and started selling, and obviously it's like what I should be doing. I love it.
You
So,
do love it.
Yeah.
It's just in your blood.
Yeah.
I think it was in your genes too.
Yeah.
So, did you have any particular reason why you chose Village? You chose Village because Zach was here, and you chose
Yeah,
Village
Hunter was
because
here.
Hunter was here. So it was being around someone you knew.
Yeah.
So then, Scott, you left 9 years ago. David, you didn't. They tried, I'm sure, to take you, but you didn't go. And now you're and now you're back. You're still here, but you've taken on different roles. And so tell me about the decision to come back, and not so much the details, but there was an opportunity for you to go into sort of a leadership position, correct?
Right. So when we left, it was because of an opportunity to go into a leadership position, open up a new office, and kind of have new excitement around us. And then kind of reached the threshold of that opportunity, and this opportunity presented itself and became one that was just too good to pass up. So decided to come back home.
Good. And what was it about Village, though, that spoke to you? Just because you used to be here, or was it a culture thing? What was it?
Yeah, it's a lot of the comfort. It's local. It's a locally owned company, and it's still local versus kind of a larger company. And it's one that I was familiar with it. It's done really well since we left, and so it has a strong reputation.
Which was really hard.
Which is really fun.
To stay successful after you left. We worked really hard.
But anyway, so it became a really good opportunity, and one that we as partners decided was a good thing to do, and it's enjoyable to come back and have some leadership options as far as how the physical space is changing, how our marketing is changing, and it's been exciting. So yeah.
And you, bless your heart, never left us. How come you didn't ever ride out into the sunset? What kept you? Is that a bad question?
No. I think, I always liked being at Village, and then the grass is always greener. You're always kind of having those when opportunities arise and things come up, and you kind of go down that path and answer those questions. And then every time that I did that, I answered the question that I wanted to be here. And so, and then this last time when that happened, it happened that way again. So I'm thankful to be here, and that it all worked out the way that it did.
And you've built
couldn't
quite a
worked out any
team
better.
and quite a business within Village. So you have sort of created almost a mini company within it.
Yeah.
But using the development and all of that as a springboard. But you also now are in a leadership role. And how do you feel about that?
To me, it's like the same as what I'm doing on the team. So it's just like I'm just selling real estate and trying to do what I'm best at, and then that be the leadership. So help. Nobody has it figured out, and so going through the issues of running a team is just a smaller version, right? So being able to brainstorm with people. I love, that that everybody's kind of back here that I like kind of bouncing ideas with, and I just think it's been more exciting to come in every day. Because there's a couple years where I was like kind of bouncing all around. I was working out of a plumbing office for a year.
So we all know that there's a group of you, and so do you each have different roles? I think that's kind of one of the things. I'm just open asking things, and you all have an opportunity to ask questions. But do you each have defined roles, or is it a collaborative, or how are decisions? I mean, I was just curious. Do we go to you for this and you to that, or we're just curious?
I feel like the defined roles are really Hunter and Zach.
Okay.
Otherwise, it's we want to make it better, and we're all looking, but just like anybody else in this room, we're just looking for ideas of things that can help the agent base. So if I feel like, okay, that this would be helpful and it would help everybody, then I'll bring that idea to the table. But it's not like you got to come up with 3 ideas this month to help the agent.
How do you guys feel about this idea of being on a sort of you may not see it so differently, but you are on a little different side of things. And have you gotten any surprises like, I didn't realize it was quite like that, or no?
I
No
honestly
surprises?
don't see it any much different. You know, it's like David said, running a team is like, this is just a sort of bigger team, and you know, I think to a certain extent I want to, everything I do for the Zach Crystal Evans Goodyear team is also what I would do for the Village team, is to make it better in every way possible. So that's it.
And I think we
it's no
can
different.
feel that. I mean, you can't even go to the bathroom, it's being so up here. We're gonna have the best bathrooms in town, hopefully soon.
Yeah.
No, but I mean, it's good. Everything you've done has been to lighten and brighten and clear and make it clear and clarity. I like it. So, what did you do? Let's go back a little bit to your businesses, because both of you started and your businesses were not as robust at the very, very beginning, and you probably did some trial and error. So what did you do, David, to get yourself, how did it grow into then you did sell real estate to people who wanted to buy houses? At one point you got into the real sales of it.
Right. It was just, I think it just kind of, I mean, it's 15 years of doing it, so you start to just go to work every day, and then
So
stuff
you're not
kinda
going to tell
builds.
us the secret if you call 5 people a day and you send out a
So I think you
30-day
gotta be talking to
message.
people on the phone. I think you gotta be getting face to face with people. It's really important. Like sitting behind a screen, you're not gonna build your business. I think it's getting out there and shaking hands, and then like having expertise. There was one point you had told me you did this, or somebody knew this, and so I like copied it, and I just started seeing every house in 37212 that would come on the market. I did that for like a year or two, and then so like in the office I was kind of the expert. People would always ask me about it. I had perspective on all the houses, and I felt like that grew my business because I knew the market so well. And then time ran out. I just feel like if you're starting out as an agent, you fill in your time, and so you just want to be doing things to grow your business and filling that time with things that are growing your business. So.
Scott, how about you?
Was that a cutoff time?
Yeah. Too long.
Too
You
long.
know,
Yes.
somebody's cell phone was on, going off over there.
A little bit of the same. Actually, a lot of the same. Getting out and meeting people and telling everybody I know that I'm in real estate. The kind of the basics there, but also really trying to come back and present yourself as an expert in the field. To David's point, like going around and looking at all the houses, and it's funny how people have said because our buyers go through open houses and they like see some of the quirks that are in those houses, and if you've been through that house and understand the same quirks, it presents you as an expert on. Like, oh yeah, you actually do know what you're talking about, so we can continue to
So
trust
in
you.
that line, both of you kind of said the same thing. What would you tell an agent that they should be doing if they have in their time of a day? If they don't have clients, what should they be doing?
should be figuring out how to add value to their clients, even if you don't know maybe who your clients are. So adding value would just be like knowing. Have I gone too long? Yeah, I feel like I barely got started.
Excuse me. There's a cell phone over here that's been left. We don't know whose it is, but it keeps going off. And if we could put
Answer
it
it.
on
Right.
silent. Can we put
We
it
have
on
two left.
silent?
Yeah.
Thank you. No, that wasn't your cutoff time. Oh, yeah.
Adding value to your clients. So it's like, even if you don't know, so that was like, I didn't know who it was, so I wanted it to be people in 37212, so I started
So
focusing
you
on
focused on your ideal client or your ideal demographic, and then
so
went
that I
out.
could speak to that market. It doesn't take that much time to do that if you have a lot of time.
You think the same?
Very much the same. Yeah.
So, but then along came a wife and 4 or 5.
Mm-hmm.
4 babies. Well, I'm waiting for 5. Okay, so we have 4 under what age?
9.
Okay, so we have 4 children. You have 2. We have family life. We have business life. How are you managing now that you have a team and you have an incredible business? How are you managing to balance all of it?
I find it most useful to, I try and do time blocking.
Really?
So, to a certain, I'm not a, I don't do it, by the minute, but I have my routines and my schedules that I like to, I wake up, knock out some work, or focus on family time in the morning, get the kids out to school, go work out, and that's my alone time, and I'm more productive once I do that, but I can spend the rest of the afternoon actually working, and then I try and shut down by 4 or 5 and let the rest of it do. So I know that my productive hours are confined to 11 to 5, and focus on what's also important, which is family. Now, of course, there's people still call after 5 o'clock. They're still showing up after 5 o'clock, but I try and figure out how to maneuver those into my available work hours as often as possible.
And your family knows this. How about you? You don't seem like you ever unwind, do you? It's kind of like I see you've got
like
this
I do.
spring that's completely wound tight. Does it
yeah.
ever get?
That's probably just me.
Yes.
So, I mean, that's been that was a thing for a long time. It's like being self-employed is a different deal, and my wife, she grew up and her dad went to work at a time and came home at a time and was off on the weekends, and she was used to that life, and my family was the same way, and so when you could be called at any time, you kind of at first you give in to that because you're wanting to fill your time, you're wanting those phone calls, you're hoping that happens, and then it's been work like building structure around that. So what I try to do is it's 6. Like our deal's kind of like if I don't, I'm home at 6 unless we've had a discussion about why I'm not going to be home at 6.
How early on the day do you have to have that discussion?
I think I'm home at 6 enough that if something came, but nothing would come up at this point and how I run things to where I shouldn't be doing that, I guess, unless it's like traffic or something where it's like I was showing in East Nashville at 3 and now I'm stuck and I'm on call or something. But get home at 6 and just like put the phone down and try and be present till 9 and then if I need to check something, but usually I just try and explain that to my clients, and that's how I operate. And sometimes you got a fire that you got to handle, but I feel like 90% of the time, 95% of the time that's how it works. So in the same way that our clients want our time and energy, and that's like the most important thing, then also want to do that with my kids, and like I want to pour that into them. That's the thing that we like can't get any more of that. So
That's really good. Right. That seems to be the biggest problem with real estate. It can be all consuming. And it seems like it. So you've created this team and you've created, has that helped having others that can fill in and balance each other during that? So it's not just you, there's somebody else that can fill in, or if you had to, or do you balance it out in time, or can some of the other people pick up the leads?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's a huge part of why the team exists, is everybody, hopefully, is able to offload something, if not. And I'm like, my team's awesome. Like, I'm thankful for them, and they're like, everybody pitches in to kind of get to this finish line on whatever. It seems like we're in a really good spot where everybody's on the same page and communicates well, and constantly working on the communication to be better. But I'm probably the worst of the group, right? So it's like I gotta communicate.
No, I don't think you're the worst of
and
the group.
get it out there.
You know,
What our game
whatever
plan
it is that you have, they're following. Wouldn't you say? You're creating a steadiness, and I think that's what's so important. I have a couple more questions, but I do want to make sure that you guys have a chance to ask yours. If there was anything you could do different in the course of this, what would it be? Anything?
In the course of this conversation.
Not in the course of this conversation. Yeah, you could say that, but if you want to go back a little further. In your career, is there something that a path you chose that now that you're seeing it, maybe it would have been easier, but maybe you're completely happy with the way things have gone and the decisions you've made? I know I have made a lot of bad decisions in my lifetime. I've made the best of them, I've worked through them, but not all my decisions have been for the best. We do learn from them.
So
Any hard lessons?
Give
us some.
Okay, so for me, I've made a lot of bad decisions, lots of things, whatever you learn from different things, but I try to not focus on anything that's behind me. Like, we're here now I gotta go forward in this decision. So, I'm doing a development deal on Beach Avenue. It was like a goal of mine 2 years ago. I gotta do a development deal, sell all these developments, so it's time for me to do it. And 2 years later, it's still not done. It's been super stressful, and it had RM zoning, and then all this stuff comes out that they're gonna change it, a week before the CO, keeping me up at night. But at the end of the day, I'm here now, right? So it's like, I'm in the deal. I gotta answer the questions going forward and not look back.
I wish I had it.
I can't change anything about it. And so many things I think are that way. And then like from a tough real estate deals or things I've learned within is just take a breath, like you said. I'm wound up, and things will consume me that somebody, whatever, wants some of me to throw in my commission or do something where I feel like they're trying to take advantage of me, and it can get you frustrated. But just sleeping on things and not reacting immediately, because I'll always feel like I'll regret it when I do that. And so it's like whenever I sleep on that idea, I never do what I was gonna do originally.
That's a really good lesson,
Yeah.
to breathe and give a minute. I went to Blaze. There was a speaker. Has anybody read Miracle Morning? We must be the only people in the whole world, because when I went to this, there was thousands of people and supposedly 1 million people around the world who've read this story called Miracle Mornings, and it's how to make your life better. And it's one of those. But the guy was amazing. But what he did say, it's no different. There was no new words, but he said he only allows 5 minutes of grief or regret or anger or like something happened. After 5 minutes, there's nothing, if you can't do anything about it, then you have to go for it. There's no sense spending more than 5 minutes frustrated and angry and upset, because after that there's nothing more, especially if you can't change the past. So it was kind of that, and I thought
robbing your time, which you don't.
That's what he was saying.
Can't get
So
part of it.
everybody was just raving, and I got, but it wasn't interesting. How about you, Scott? Anything?
I mean, I feel like, yeah, I can't even remember the original question now, but
It was about, would you do anything different?
what I do think differently.
Or was there any lessons you learned along the way that these could share with others? Because, you know, I do think we learn from each other's stories too, don't you think?
Sure.
I mean, we all have stories, and those are the stories that help others either support them in what they're doing or give them insight for a situation, even if it's not different. So that's what this is about. It's kind of sharing your story so others can relate to it and get support from it and that kind of thing.
I would kind of piggyback that a little bit and just say that I think the lesson that I've learned over time is to really, because this is very, this field is insular and it's just yourself. You're out for yourself. We're all technically competitors, but always having confidence in what you're doing to move forward and to a certain extent looking, realizing what the experience you had, learning from that, even if it was a bad decision, there's always something to learn to move forward. I remember, like, when I first started my career, I had a client that wanted to see a townhome that weekend, and I somehow missed the call because my best friends and family were all in town, and I picked up the phone on Sunday, called her back, and she said, "You're probably not the right agent for us because we need somebody who can respond immediately." And I was just devastated. I was like, "Oh my God, like, I've lost a client now, and I've hurt her feelings," and then I look back on it, and I had grief for a couple days, and I look back, I was like, you know what, I actually don't want to work with that type of person who pigeonholes me into expectations that are not realistic. And so, always learning from what you would think would be a bad situation and turning that into a positive is the best thing. Just believing in yourself, because this is like the music industry. Like, everybody's going to beat you down until you don't know what you're doing or you're dumb or whatever it is. But just believe in yourself and have confidence that the decision you're going to make is the right one. And if you need help, ask somebody. Anybody who's been in the business a little bit longer. But ultimately, whatever decision you make is going to be the right one, because you'll learn from that moving forward. So,
I think that is what makes you guys as a group are creating a culture of collaboration. That's what it feels like. That village is very collaborative. We've always kind of thought that, but now having all of you collaborate and the way you do your business is through collaboration. And I think that's an important aspect, that we learn from each other and we learn and get ideas from each other. So if you had to give something what would you advise each of you, a newer agent or an agent that's in the building, not that you're not always building, you never stop building a business, but some tricks or tips to some people who are not as far along in their career as you are?
I say ask questions. Always ask questions. Try to figure out something more. Maggie was a great example. Like, she had some questions about her blog posts. Sent them over to us. I looked through it and I was like, I provided some answers, and it was great. Like, it was. I feel sometimes we're taught to keep things to ourselves, and because we are all competitors, like if I'm doing this deal and Scott might have somebody else that's going to swoop in and steal a deal from me or whatever it is. No, like, just ask around. We're all here together. We're all here to explore each other and bring everybody else up.
And that's a culture.
That's a
That's
culture.
not always the same.
It's not really, yeah. That's
So
what we
I
need
think
to.
that's what makes Village special.
Right.
What do you think? The question was, what do you advise? A couple things that somebody who's really still in the beginning.
To me, there's enough to go around. Collaborate with people. Like, I think as a new agent, there's a fear, like, get out and know your sphere and your people, but also it's really important to know the agents, because that's who you're going to be working with, and that's who you're going to be negotiating with, and so, like, getting to know the new crowd here or whatever, and building those relationships is just as important. I think sometimes we forget to do that, and then same thing, but then still get out there and just face-to-face interactions and talking to people on the phone. Voice inflection doesn't come off in a text or email, and so
Say that again.
Voice inflection doesn't come off in a text or email. It just did.
It's really interesting because I got a call this morning from someone, not so much related to real estate at all, but they responded with text off the top, and the person's very upset with the response. And the response wasn't at all delivered the way they had intended, but we tend to be so busy.
Just you set that how you feel in that moment.
Yeah, but you can't see it.
Right.
And so, you know,
You have
the
no
person
idea.
felt that they were being upset, and it wasn't all that, and so it escalates, and feelings get hurt, and it was. I just think that some texts can be things can be answered in text, maybe a yes or a no, but if it needs more work, explanations, don't do it.
Yeah.
If you don't have time to answer or make the actual call, then don't do anything, because you can really wreck it and say, I'll talk to you, let's talk about this later or something, I found.
Right.
Yeah, I can see where text could
It frees you up to believe that there's plenty of real estate to be sold, there's enough to go around, and that everybody isn't trying to steal it from you.
And so now that you're in the would you say you're in the middle of your career? And some people are in the middle of their career, some are in the beginning, and I don't know if it's that defined. But what do you see in your future of how you're going to maybe sunset your business? In you, not the business, but what kind of things are you doing what are you going to be doing in 20 years? That wasn't one of the questions.
What am I going to be doing in 20 years?
What would you like to be doing?
I would like to be free of my children in 20 years.
I am sorry to tell you.
Yes.
It just gets worse until they get to be about 50. Then they don't need you anymore, and you need them. Don't get free too free.
No, I love my kids. Don't get me wrong. I would just having be able to live the life that I choose is my ultimate goal in 20 years. I don't know what that's going to look like. I have ideas, but I just want to be happy. If real estate's part of that in 20 years, I mean, my dad is 84 years old and still selling real estate.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Oh my gosh, where?
Greencastle. So this town of 10,000 people just keeps on trudging along.
That's pretty amazing.
Yeah, so I don't know if I want to do that, but if I still have the energy to do that, maybe it's fun. I don't know. So just my ultimate goal is to be happy in 20 years.
Okay.
Yeah, I want my kids to all be self-sufficient.
That's all our goals. Then the grandkids come.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't know that I like selling real estate. I wanna I guess I don't want to be like putting up open house signs on a Sunday in 20 years, but like I like I don't know how I guess I'll feel, but I like negotiating, and I like
You do like that, don't you?
yeah, I do. I like it a lot, and I want to, but I like the rush of getting somebody, making somebody a great investment or purchase, and that emotion that goes with that is fun. It's like this huge thing for people, and you get to kind of be a part of it, and so that's like an exciting rush for me, and so I don't know if I'll be like over that in 20 years or not, but right now I
How do you feel
feel like
about
it will be.
leading people like you do?
Yeah, I love seeing people people grow their businesses and make this thing a full-time job, and the confidence that gets built up in people when they kind of are able to do it a couple times, and
You think that's a key to this team's success, that you are invested and excited with their success?
yeah, I mean, I think part of it's that. part of it's that I get a bunch of listings, right? I mean, would everybody be hanging out if I was not getting any listings? I don't
you
know.
mean they're just using you?
I mean, people are into all right. I don't know. I mean, they're not using me, but I don't know how exciting it would be if we didn't have listings.
No, it probably wouldn't be too good if you
Yeah, it probably wouldn't be that good, right?
Yeah.
So I got to keep it going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Twiddling your thumbs.
So, okay, we talked about you. What do you see for what's the vision for Village in the next 5 years? Any?
I see it just getting better. I just see it being like the place to go. If you're like an agent, like what. Not that it like isn't that or wasn't that, but like when I came here, I was like so excited to tell people that that's where I went, and yeah, I feel like we're gonna be that again in town or whatever. But I think you're, like you said, I'm in the middle of my business, the business grew, and then you're not thinking about the company quite as much. But when you're young and you don't realize that, like, you know, just about anywhere would take you, you feel like accepted when Village took you. So.
When they
Right.
took you. Yeah, you didn't realize.
You didn't realize I could have gone anywhere. I was like, what? I got hired?
What do you see for the future of Village?
Kind of the same. You know, I think that right now there's a lot of kind of shiny bubbles being floated out there, and I want to see Village known as, in the city, as the most collaborative, the most most intelligent, educated group. That we all understand each other and have a great family aspect, and so that it becomes. We attract, don't chase. So we become that group that people want to, when the shininess of the bubbles wears off, and I just want to go to a really great, well-rounded, grounded, but forward-thinking, advanced company. Village is the one they think of, and that's my goal. So.
Are you looking to grow in size or office space?
Makes sense.
Yeah, there aren't goals to like
have 500 agents by the year.
20% of market share in 20 cities by 2020.
Oh, I've heard that.
Oh, wait,
I've heard that. Where have I heard that? All right, I'm going to open it up if you're ready. That you've all got your questions. This is your chance to grill me. Oh, look, we've got Andrea.
So,
Say it loud. So,
David, a bulk of your business seems to be representing developments, working with developers, and Scott, I'm not as familiar if it's the same for you. I don't think so as much, but I'm curious to know what percentage of your business is that overall, and then when you were first trying to get somebody to take a chance on you to represent that group of townhouses or that condo, how did you convince somebody to let you be the agent for that development?
and so let's
okay,
repeat.
so percentage of my business.
Can I repeat the question for those out there in case
Yeah.
you didn't hear? So the question is A, what percentage of his business is in developments?
Right.
And when you were brand new to this, how did you get developers to want to use you to help them sell big developments when you were newer in the business? Would that be fair to?
Yeah.
I just wanted everybody to hear it. Okay.
So it depends on the year for the percentage of the developments. Like last year, we didn't have any development closings, and then this year we will have. It'll be probably 50 to 60%, and then next year, unless some stuff runs late, which next year I'm sure it'll be.
So you're talking about
percentage again.
closings,
Everything's run late.
but you're working on them even though they're not closed.
Yeah, right. So you're always working on that part. So I don't.
So how
It's
do
just
people,
hard to say on the
how do
percentage.
people decide to use you?
So and then how people decide to use me. I mean, I had a fortunate situation in the fact that I was on Mark's team when I first started, and he would put me on development, and I
He was a maniac.
I was good at it, right? I was wound tight because I was like, I'm 36, I was 24 then. So think about it.
I think of it.
Wind it up, right? I didn't get hangovers. So yeah, so I mean, I just answered the phone and I was just like, worked really hard, you know, and I liked that. But then after like 5 years of that, I grew into a spot where I had a resume in a way of developments I had sold, but I didn't know all the back end and all that really went into it. It's like, I can do this, and then when I first got something, it was the first time I realized like what all happens before you sell a house. And so where I felt like I need to get paid on that, this needs to be how I get paid. I had these preconceived notions of what I deserved for answering a phone that was like directed to my phone, and then I would go walk people around, and I was good at building rapport and good at sales, but the whole life of it, the first year and a half of marketing dollars spent and meetings with the developers and all that. So
you learned the hard way.
She learned that the hard way. I mean, there's like no other way to learn it, kind of. It's like I had blind confidence that like I deserve to do this. Like this is my thing. And then you get in it and you figure it out. But that confidence helped me get it. So if you're like, how did you get it? It was like, wow, I've sold all this stuff.
Until you make it?
Yeah, but it wasn't planned.
Right, it wasn't.
Right, it wasn't a planned fake. It was like I knew what I was doing. But then you get in the mix, and then you learn. And, I mean, the first deal that I put together that was like mine from land to completion was Archer, which was like 2.5 years ago. So it's like in a way, it's like or 3 years ago. But it's like in a way, I was like, I've been doing developments this whole time, but the first thing I really did, and then Silo's the next really thing and that was like in the paper, and I saw it, and then I called, and then was like, the Core almost did it, and then Evergreen almost did it, and they both backed out, and somebody else got it, and then I thought we weren't doing it, and then Evergreen, we sold out of Archer, and the guys dropped the contract from Atlanta, and I ran into Andrew Terrell, again, good reason to know agents, and he's like, Southeast Venture is pitching me this deal. I feel like it'd be better for you than me. And so I called the guys up again. I'm like, what's going on? I thought the group from Atlanta. And he's like, who told you? Did Andrew tell you? I told him not to tell anybody. And I'm like, well, I'm glad he told me, because now we got 400 units over there, and it's good for Southeast Venture too. But people, that's again, like if you're not operating from a mindset, hopefully he operates from that now. Not Andrew.
No, I know.
But yeah, so I don't know. It's not like a formula to it. It just kind of has happened. But.
So you had a platform initially, a foundation through Mark's, being on Mark's team to then transition to your own projects.
Correct, and I tell people on my team that as they like work these developments is like the payday isn't like it seems like it's out there in the next year. The real payday is in like 3 years. Because when all those people start calling you back because you sold them on that vision, that's when the 3% money starts happening, and that's when you really get paid. But you gotta like ride that out, and it's a long grind because at first the pay isn't great, and you're not hitting your deadlines, and you're constantly getting yelled at, and everybody's mad at you, and you gotta just get them to the finish line. But once you get through all that,
and stay in touch after.
And people remember that you sold them the thing, and
because it's a side of the business that seems very sexy, and a lot of people want to get into it, but they don't know the real sort of that you have to be in for the long game, and just how to convince anybody that you're the person to represent.
And it's expensive. Like when I first started doing it, and I was on Mark's team, he paid all the expenses. It's another thing that I'm like blind to. That's like I can do this, and then you're writing those checks for the billboards and things, and you're like, goodness, when am I going to get a paycheck? Not for a year, or at least, right?
Any other questions? Beth?
This is basic, but I'm curious. So
Loud, Beth. Okay.
The more you put yourself out there, which is what you have to do in order to progress, you're going to do. The more you do that, the more rejection you're going to deal with. So how do you deal with rejection?
Okay, the question is, how do you deal with rejection? Though I don't know if Scott or David have ever had to deal with any kind of rejection. Scott?
I deal with rejection every day. Come on. I think, it's funny how over time it's changed. Like I said, that example of the client that I lost because I was paying attention to my family, it was like a lot of rejection in it, and I felt a lot of grief, and I still remember it. But ultimately, I said there's a way to learn from where you are, and it's not. I mean, rejection never always will hurt, no matter what kind of rejection it is, professional or personal. It always will hurt, but how to figure out a way to twist that around and learn from it and move forward. Because dwelling in negativity doesn't do anybody any good.
And you?
So
Has
yeah,
anybody
I mean,
ever rejected?
yeah. So like sleep on it.
Look at that smile.
And then like for me, I found that accepting it as being like it's the right thing that didn't happen for whatever the reason is, even though that I maybe wanted it to happen. And so even like getting that out, like writing them a note or like saying like, I hope for the best, and if there's a way that I can help you, if we're just talking real estate, but also just in life in general, it's just like, it didn't work out for whatever reason, but whatever that rejection was, that they're still trying to find that you hope that they find what that they're looking for.
That's a pretty positive.
At least takes it off of you, like you, because it's not.
Letting it go.
Yeah, you gotta let it go.
Any other questions? Phil?
Yeah, so I know this is a difficult topic faced by every city in the country, but how do you think we help and encourage more affordable housing ownership in these neighborhoods, these core neighborhoods for our children, to come back from school and be able to buy a house and live where they grew up?
Okay, I'm going to just rephrase that for the out there audience. How do you see our ability as realtors in the industry to create affordable housing for our children?
Yeah, I mean, we can't do it all, but
what
we have
could
a part.
we do?
What could we do?
What could we do? Any ideas? Nothing heavy here. If you have the answer, we're going to put you up for governor. Mayor, certainly, but what's your ideas? Have you found that to be an issue? I mean, it is an issue.
Yeah. I mean, every developer that I'm working with is trying to make money on the deal, and so I mean, I try and price things, especially in the development world, to where we do provide something that fits a need that isn't. I don't want to be pushing the top of the thing, just because I feel like that's a moment in time right now. So to me, it's I don't know that it qualifies as affordable, but I mean, I feel like Silo Bend is like, we could have argued a lot higher prices there, but we like priced in a range that we felt like it met a need, and we built on that, and I feel like it's a lot of affordable housing. And then I got a project coming in East Nashville that like everything's under 300, 71 units, and most everything's under 250. And our pitch to the developer was like, this is what you're in the land for, this is what this deal looks like, and like you could argue to build stuff, but the idea is that we're mitigating the risk for that developer too. So it's like, you're still gonna make money here, but we think it's gonna be a home run because nobody's focusing on that. Everybody is focusing on like doing it in a certain way to try and just achieve the most profit. We still want to achieve the most profit for our developers as well, but like there's also a lifespan to these things, and we don't know what's going to happen, and we think that this is the safest way to achieve the best return. And we've had good feedback with people like that. When we break it down to them, it's not just like, oh, you're just a realtor trying to sell out my building really fast, and you're trying to leave a bunch of money on the table. We have a plan to not leave money on the table, but we think that
That's an interesting thing, mitigating risk. 'Cause
Yeah.
you don't know, if you're a year out, you don't know, and as we know with Icon, how fantastic that was, and then when it hit, the bottom fell out, nothing stood, so you gotta be careful.
Yeah, it's a long, like what's happening today isn't when that project's gonna deliver. But that's not really solving the affordable housing.
No,
problem.
but it is being more conscious and less greedy in a sense, and looking at the need today rather than,
Right.
any other things on it?
I think it's a very, kind of ethereal topic that's tough for individuals to handle. I feel like that's more of a kind of a public-private government sector issue to solve. I think our goal and what we should keep in mind is just sort of keeping it on the front burner. So having it in mind when we have our conversations with our clients, so that they're also then thinking about it and asking questions to their council persons and the people
Well,
that.
the problem is the land.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, bottom line is the sellers of the land are just wanting sometimes outrageous money.
Right. But
Just like anyone would, that, I mean, it's just tough to be like, you should take less.
Right. Any other questions? Thanks, Phil, that was great. I wish we had any other questions? No? Lynn?
You've got a team of 9 now, and how is that broken down in terms of buyer's agents, and, transaction coordinators?
We have 2 admin, and then everybody else is agent. And we don't have like a setup that's like you're a buyer's agent or you're a listing agent. I know that there's like ways to do that. I don't like think I have like it figured out necessarily.
I see.
But
So
it
it's
works.
like individual doing their own things, getting listings and
Yeah, so I mean, we
buyers.
meet, we like discuss it, like I'm there to like help them through a deal, but like I want people to be able to grow their businesses in the same way that I want my kids to be self-sufficient. I want my team to be able to go out and be their own agent and grow into that. I don't want to be cutting up the peanut butter and jelly forever,
Cutting up the peanut butter.
whatever, grapes or whatever. Like it's like yeah, the hot dog.
Sounds like this is what you do a lot at home, cutting
I
up
do that.
grapes.
I'm done, yeah.
Wow, cutting up grapes.
I'm not changing anybody's diaper on my team.
I bet you're good at that, though.
But I want that, and so I think that maybe that's like helps in some way with my team as people like hang around for a minute, but
You've had pretty longevity with your team.
yeah.
I think I'm pretty amazed that a lot of, because it is very transient, teams and partners, and again, it's hard to stay because differences, the high D of real estate personality makes it hard to work. But how have you sustained you've got an admin person?
Yeah, well, yes, that's how she started, and that was our biggest challenge, was figuring out when we were ready for that admin person, and that was Crystal. And now she has sort of evolved over the last 6 years or 7 years, maybe longer, can't remember, honestly. Sorry, Crystal, if you're listening. But she's evolved more into kind of a buyer's agent, kind of helping us out, and we're considering, I'm trying to, what's the
I
next
hope
step?
you're looking for a new admin.
We're considering what is the next step for us. We've got a lot more responsibilities, and it's always changing. So.
Do you have a niche or a focus, a direction of just like niching your particular businesses, or is it more residential, more multifamily, just?
We are we're all over the board, so we're about 50-50. We had big development deals. I did personal stuff in the past that has sort of waned off, but Zach's got some bigger projects going on right now. But then we also those are not anything to sort of hang your hat on. Like David and Brian have been really fortunate in getting a lot of the repeat deals and finding those places for their clients. But that's not something I'm necessarily holding on for dear life. That's my, I'm gonna have every high-rise listing from here on out. That's not feasible. So my bread and butter is my day-to-day clients and make sure they're taken care of, and just whether it's a $200,000 or $100,000 contract we've got right now to a $3 million deal that we've got going on right now.
How do you keep in touch with your clients?
We have, Boomerang, we use that often. There's a lot. The yin and the yang of it is that Zach is the techie, so he's got a lot of the ideas for how to stay in touch technologically and try to ease things. I'm more of the kind of warm and fuzzy, so I'm the one kind of trolling through Instagram and Facebook and seeing if they got kids or finding reasons to call and develop a personal relationship. That's where I excel.
Any other questions? I see some of your team members here. Did you come to see if he really was going to say what you wanted him to say? And you have no question?
So a couple of things I want to say one.
Oh
last
gosh,
thing. So one thing I think you have in our business is you're like planning things out for yourself, and then we start like, spending this money or going down this road, and so like always having the ability to change your mind as new information comes available, like to shelf something, to get it out of the way and let it go, because you went down the wrong path is big. Just because you're halfway down the path doesn't mean you got to stay on it. Like, get off it. And
is there any specifics you can share? An example that you would
I
like?
mean, no, I don't. Well, I mean, I could give an example, but I don't think it. Yeah,
It's
or
not
like
gonna be
a
bus
development
pushers.
deal, or like we were Brian and I were well
Are you
down the
talking about
road.
Brian Stoll's?
Yeah, on getting a development deal, and the pricing just wasn't where we could sell it, and it was like a $40 million development deal. So you look at $40 million and 3% of that, and it's really hard. You spent months working on the floor plans and things, and the developer's telling you this is where it's got to be, and we're just realizing like, well, we're not going to be able to do that, and so we just had to say this isn't the project for us.
And that's
that
not
was
any
hard
different
to
than
do.
agents who are getting asked to take over price listings, or
Right.
it's that confidence.
So you get down that, so I think just moving on from that would have been a time suck for a long time, and then my team would lose confidence in me. Like, it's a big thing that the things that I'm handing over are priced correctly, so that matters to building confidence like around you. And then I think like you want to be growing in your business constantly. So I think a mistake that we all make is we grow to a level when we first start, we just want to be busy, and so like we just want to have listings, we just want to, and we want our phone to ring, and then it starts happening, and then you get to a spot where you need to hire somebody, but you don't hire somebody because you can handle it all. I can handle it all, and you lose your work-life balance, and you start to get in this spot. But you look at hiring a person, it's like, well, I got to sell another $1.5 million. I mean, my goodness, I don't want to have to do that. But it's freeing when you hire that person, and it forces you to focus on your business. It forces you to have something to come in to say every day to build on that. And then from there, like, you need to bring another agent on. Like, that's just the next steps. You need to be growing that part of your business. And, I get that if you maybe don't want to have a big team, but like, I just think those 3 steps basically end up making you work harder, which is really good, but it opens up your business and makes you like really look at it and figure it out in a way that you can't when you're in it like that. And so
you're building a business instead of chasing deals.
Yeah. But you're still doing real estate. It's the thing. I think that there's also this idea that like you build this team and then you don't like do sales anymore, and it's like you're the secret sauce. Like the reason your phone's ringing is because people want to talk to you or they want to do deals with you, and so still like being involved is a really big part of that. Like when I made the pork butt. You know? And it was like, I loved on that for 20 hours. So that was why it was so good. You know, that's why it's better than Nedley's, because they got 30 of them going every day. And
He just
so, and that's
loved
why,
on his butt.
but that's why people want you, right? Yeah. But that's why people want to work with you, because of whatever, your personalities match up. And so, and then certain people, your personality doesn't work, like you were saying, that client who said you weren't available. Well, like, that's okay. You know, it's like you didn't really want to work with them either. You kind of came to that conclusion. And so I think that being able to come to terms with that and let that go, it's like, hey, that was the best for both of us. And I hope you find what you want. And still want them to find a house.
You know, I hope.
Maybe you'll resell it.
What I
Rather be the listing agent on that. with that client.
my hope for this meeting was so that all of Village could get to see you in the real you that you are, because your personalities, your genuine, authentic caring for the whole is so important in leadership. And that's probably, if there's nothing else, that care and concern for the whole and not just your own self makes you good leaders. And for that, I'm a little teary and happy that you are leading, because that's what makes this company great. This is what it's always been, is there's been a real deep sense of love and commitment from the top. Wouldn't you all say? Do you have a question?
No.
You're right on. One more opportunity and we're gonna close.
I have one tiny question.
Millie.
So, I have been full-time like for a little over a year and been okay. But I have this like ongoing fear, like, oh my God, what if this is all luck and like the sky falls and you're just totally effed? And it was like, nah, just kidding, you're not really that good. Like, did you ever experience that, like, oh my God, like, what if this is just all a fluke and luck? Like, and if you have experienced that, like, how long into it are you like, yeah, it's not, I'm actually okay?
Never.
Every day.
Okay, good.
I'm sorry, I was just going for my own personal. What do you think?
I mean, I kind of
No,
like it.
I think there is something to like finding the confidence. It's like, it's not luck. It's not gonna like end tomorrow.
I mean, I like it because it keeps me motivated, but at the same time, I'm like, I'm never gonna like breathe, or it just feels like, does that go, like, how long into it are you like, okay, this is like steady and it's not gonna just stop?
I feel I would twist that a little bit, and yes, there's a fear there, but use that fear as a motivator, because I think that when the failure comes when an agent becomes complacent, and when you are just like, you've got the, you know, it's like, I don't need to do anything. That's when you're not attracting anymore. You're.
Yeah.
I think that fear is an inborn, and I hate the word fear, but
don't-
entrepreneur.
I
I don't like
Fear,
fear.
it's
Not
not
like fear, not
But
like I'm not scared to death.
entrepreneurial, by being an
Yeah.
entrepreneur in anything, we have responsibility. The responsibility never goes away. You always will carry that sort of responsibility, but it doesn't have to be a fear
Right.
that the world's gonna end. You have to have
maybe
the
that's the wrong
confidence
word.
in your responsibility that I
But
will
that's
do.
what you're feeling is fear. You have to like get that out, because that's like
Fear's negative.
Fear is negative, and your clients and the people that have chosen to use you, like, and had good experiences and are referring you, and that's your focus is on those people and working open houses and helping other people do this, and it's not. It'll just like perpetuate out when
Right.
you like let go of the idea that like you're not gonna make a sale next month. I know that you have that fear, but it's just like if you're doing that and you're out helping people and you're adding value, I think that's a thing where like when you start counting the sales or help, like you need to, then you're in the wrong place already. When you're just working for people and helping them, just adding value. How can I add value? How can I add value? Because if you're adding value, then people come back to you.
Yes.
That was where I said, go see every house in 37212. because now I have value add. Now people want to talk to me because I have value add. So I'm not just like sucking off other people, that people are getting something from me. And when they get something from you, then they choose to use you. And if you're adding value, like, you become irreplaceable,
And we
it's
call,
not going to
I
stop.
usually call that detach from the outcome.
Yeah.
Do the work, do the thing, and detach from the outcome. The outcome will just happen because you're doing. So I always say detach from the outcome.
Yeah.
And
The outcome doesn't matter. Like if somebody screws you over, they that's on them.
Yeah.
Like if you're doing it right, it'll come back. You just keep like head down and add value to people, and it'll like grow more than you'll be able to. I know that sounds like
No, it doesn't.
No,
silly
it's
a little
true.
bit, but
Okay, I really, really enjoyed it, and I thank you. It wasn't as painful as you thought.
no, I didn't think it was gonna be that painful.
You were nervous? You were not.
Good
Well,
job.
I've known you guys a long time, and I'm very proud of the men that you've become, the fathers and the realtors and your whole balanced life. So thank you for adding to my life.